A claw glove might be for you. The claw will outlast, play cooler, and grip better than traditional leather gloves.
Side effects may include more greens hit, big payouts from your buddies, and in some cases, shooting your lowest round.
I have the power to lower my score with Claw Glove.
Go to clawglove.com and see if Claw Glove is right for you.
Having a corporate or charity golf event? Backswing Golf Events can supply your tournament with personable, professional golfers to entertain and fundraise on the golf course. They can accommodate any size group, whether it be 3 players to 500. They are your team. From range lessons, Beat the Pro, and Pro-Am style roaming, they're making lasting memories one swing at a time. So make sure to check out backswinggolfevents.com or call us direct at 661-316-3093 and book your pros now.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning.
Welcome to On Par with Amanda. Thanks for tuning in. So we're going to jump right into this. We talk a lot about rule changes as they have happened over the years. Back in 2019, when all of those rule changes happened. So I like to kind of keep our viewers current on what's going on and being talked about. And one of the biggest things right now, so the yardage books. A lot of you that maybe don't know, but tour players have very specific yardage books that are not the ones you buy in the pro shop, that are just, show the layout of the hole, etc. But they actually have very in-depth detail about the greens and about, so like you'll see the entire hole layout, but then the second page of that hole will just be the green. And I mean, it will be detailed out to the most gentle slope. And I mean, it's very, very particular. So what they are doing in January of 2022, they are imposing a rule. It's called the MRLG11 rule. And it is meant to be used at the highest levels of the PGA Tour, European, LPGA, and Korn Ferry. So it is not intended for rec events like your member guest. Those you can use whatever yardage book, you can write in them, whatever. So this is meant for the pros at very high levels. So the Bryson DeChambeau, he's a great example. His yardage book, we were just joking about this earlier, looks like an engineering plan, like you're building a skyscraper. And I think at some point, more and more people are following that pattern where they have their caddies and the players, the caddies go out there and design a whole yardage book specifically to every degree of every slope. So this one, the specs on it are saying that it will require all players and caddies use a yardage book that is not larger than 7 inches by 4 1/4. So because I've seen yardage books that get pretty large and in charge. And the scale of the greens cannot exceed 3/8 of an inch for every 5 yards, which is very small. So it says, unlike modern yardage books that show every inch of the most gentle contour and slopes, the new book, in effect, will only show significant tiers, slopes, and false edges. So after players and caddies get their approved yardage book, they will also be limited with regard to what they can add to it before or during a round. Club distances are fine, and they can make notes about putts that they see either in person or on television. However, a player or caddy cannot use a level or slope measuring device during a practice round and then put that info in the book, which this is an epic change to golf. So, Bill, we got to get your thoughts right out of the gate.
Well, I could give you the thoughts of a lot of the press releases that have been coming out from the multitude of yardage book makers and how it affects their ability to sell their yardage books. Most are saying that it won't affect them, which basically this rule won't, and I guess it's rule 4.3. If you do write stuff on it and you go outside the norm of what you're supposed to, it's a 2-stroke penalty for every hole that you have your notes, or if you've done something different, which could be huge. Because if they figure if something went wrong, 5-6 holes in, you potentially look at 10 strokes, 12 strokes, you're done. I know a lot of the stuff that they do, even in the games. If you play PGA Tour games that like me and Biggs will play, they give you the red, the yellow, like, oh my God, you're going to fall off. They have, everything, which way is going this way, that way. And that's, I think, what they're trying to eliminate. We know what's going on. How, even with you, how to read greens. When I remember one time when I played with Graham McDowell, right? We're on a hole in Lake Nona, and he says, Billy, I want you to hit the ball right here. Well, Billy wasn't looking when he told me to hit the ball right here. Billy looked up and saw where he had been standing, right? So I hit the ball where he was at, and he asked me, what are you doing? And I'm like, you told me to hit the ball where you at. He was like, but I was over there. You know what I mean? So these guys already know. They're pretty good at reading these greens. Yeah. But you give them the speed, how fast these greens are rolling, and everything else. And you get somebody like Bryson, who has that mind already. He's going to take everything into. You've seen some of the putts these guys make. They hit that thing like 12 feet away from the hole. Mm-hmm. It goes, wraps around, comes around, does the hokey pokey, and then it falls down. You know what I mean?
It's very true. And I think, so when I played and I got my yardage book, I definitely made notes. And so that's what it's saying. Like, let's be very clear about this to our viewers. Club distances, making notes based on a player or caddy's observations by either rolling a golf ball. So if I'm playing in a practice round and I make 3 putts from this spot and I go, man, it's breaking a little more than usual or whatever, I can make that note. Mm-hmm. But I've seen practice rounds where girls or guys are out there with measuring devices to read the slope over the whole green. And they're basically constructing, I'll have to see. I'll have to pull out some of my old yardage books and bring them next time.
They're walking them and everything. They're pacing everything. Now,
maybe for the next segment, I can bring some. But yeah, it's one of those things. I'm not mad at this. I think not only does it speed up play in general, because you get too wrapped up in the mechanics side, and at the end of the day, like, let's just putt the ball, and let's use some of our feel and our knowledge. And then I think also it speeds up practice rounds, and it makes people, because I've been stuck in a practice round where I did my practice round one way. I'm a pretty fast player, pretty fast practice round player. And you get paired with 2 other girls, because you can't all have your own tee time, that want to spend 20 minutes per green. And it's not a great thing, and I get it. With respect, they're allowed to do that. It's a practice round. The course is ours that day. But I just don't love it.
Well, you take it even with the people that you play with. I mean, they're not even pros out there that they get the book in their hand, and it's made to speed up play, not slow play. Right. So when you got these books, and there's some amazing books out there. We have them. Biggs have gotten them. You have them, and you look at these books and you're like, wow, this is okay. Yeah, and it also helps you where you want to hit the ball. Your shot, where you're coming in from on your wedge. You want to know if you're going to go left side, if it's going to come down, it's going to do this. It's a lot of great information until you get to the green and stuff like that. But it's meant to speed up play. Yeah. When amateurs use it, we overthink. They start looking at it, and it says over here, then they start counting the paces. Oh, 100%. And they're doing this. If I do this, I do that. Well, you know what? It's execution. With us in the yardage book, and I mean us as in, us amateurs, you could give me all the information in the world. I still have to hit that ball the right speed, in the right direction, at the right point, to hope and pray that I get that ball inside the hole. When you get more into the guys, like Bryson and Tiger Woods and all these guys, you put a book like that in their hand.
Well, and I think I think let's also be clear that there is a difference between a yardage book and a green book. There are companies that make greens books that are solely to break down the specifics. And I'm telling you, it is the most overwhelming thing. And it is very impressive and it's awesome. But if I think that would be something great to study and to get a little more familiar with how the course is. But on the day at the course, you cannot be diving into this. It's just, and I know Rory was one of the ones back in the 2021 US Open that said, honestly, he said, I use a greens book, but I would like to see them banned. And so he was on board. And I think most guys are on tour feel that way. I just think that it's the Brysons, it's the guys that think way more mechanically than any, Two Glove Gainey. He was a very mechanical player. Like you have these people that think differently, and I think they're the ones that would push for more is better. But someone like me, I'm a feel player. I think less is more. I already think enough.
But there's too many overthinkers, and that's what happens. It's more, for the amateur side, we're going to overthink everything and anything because we want to putt like a pro. We want to do that kind of stuff. But for the tour, I mean, they're micromanaging everything right now. Yeah. Golf balls, golf equipment, shaft lengths, but they are trying, I guess, to bring down these scores or the ability for these, minus 20s and minus 21s and hitting the ball, 400 plus yards on the green every time. They're trying to figure out, and I don't blame them, you know what I mean? But
how to kind of rein that in.
It's conducive to the game, with everything.
I know.
We're going to have to see.
We'll definitely have to keep everyone posted, and maybe we can chat a little bit on our roundtable. But I just think that this is something we'll have to watch over, and I'll try to go wrangle up some of my yardage books.
I think if Biggs is around in his office, I think he has a green book or a yardage book.
We'll have to look at them, because I have the skew of like the super simple all the way to the most thought out. But well, thanks for joining me, Mr. Cuevas.
Always.
The golf father. What a treat.
Thank you, Mrs. Tenster.
Thank you. All right. To those of you, make sure you're tuning in and you are DMing me at A Robertson Golf. Would love to chat with you guys and hear your thoughts. And until next time, keep swinging for par.